as well as the final story by Show written and as well as the final. And oh boy, was that a massive mistake, or at least a story written by Stephen Moffat featuring the first. The plot, if you can even call it a plot, actually, of Twice Upon a Time, is that due to the 12th Doctor not wanting to regenerate and also took place in 1986, which is why Attack of the Cybermen takes place. Oh, bloody motorbikes outside! But and what we get is this then begins fuck you. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of a in that doesn't even involve the captain, and to begin with, that doesn't even. It's a very little story. It feels like one of the Samantha Dimmy Looming actually compared it to Dimmy Looming compared it to a Meanwhile in the TARDIS or Good enough. So yeah, but because which feels a bit sucky, which sounds kind of and honestly, that is depend. And he said and when he was going to reveal someone coming back for the Doctor, and he says, "You know who I like? I would like Bill to come back." And he says in the interview, "You know who I'd like to come back see through those doors?" And he says in the interview that he said, "You know who I'd like to see come back through those doors? You know who I'd like to see come through those doors? I'd like to see Bill back." So yeah, I think it was a great choice for him. But yeah, but again, there isn't really an awful, and there isn't it, especially. It's basically Bill's memories that have been taking her physical, for which, and they're not exactly being helped, but they're not exactly trying to persuade the Doctor not. So yeah, we got some great final performance. Also love that Matt Lucas. I also love that Nardole reference in the first episode, in the pilot's episode. I'll get more onto the 12th Doctor's. Though he does get a couple of great lines, just like the story for brackets rant. Also, whilst I have seen every single Doctor Who story, and I've watched a lot of First Doctor, but I'll do my best to try and explain what's right. But I'll try and do my best to explain what's wrong with this character compare. Now, before we, actually, to be honest, honestly, if Geraldine would, no, cut that. So I don't, and I think he looks really great. But when we get to this story, so here we go, the major rant section of the review. The First Doctor is constantly being sexist and maybe even a little bit and perhaps being a bit racist. And the First Doctor's from another planet. And the First Doctor's from a planet. But yeah, the First Doctor is basic. In fact, this episode, but that would have been due to the bloody writers. But that would have been due to the right. He was quite a nice. He got on quite well with younger characters in the war games. Machines. I keep getting those two mixed up. But Josh Snares may try to. Even Josh Snares couldn't defend the lady's made of glass line that the First Doctor has. He tried to theorise maybe the First Doctor's not quite. He tried to theorise a way round the other comments, but he couldn't defend that one. Not that he's defending the comment. Actually, I'll cut that. The worst lines are the lady aren't ladies made all made aren't all and giving a stranger a smack bottom for saying the B word, blood, the bloody one, and giving a stranger a smack bottom for saying bloody, and giving a stranger a he probably knows stuff from past and future events that haven't. So yeah, so there shouldn't really be an excuse. I mean, so there shouldn't be an excuse. So the whole stuff about him hanging around in the 1960s would be the most. I mean, she wasn't the best character in the show, but she didn't deserve that slander. And the Doctor has some brandy in his cupboard. Oh, by the way, which makes sense because this is a kid show. But yeah, and there's just some odd, and then the stop, and the Doctor is just really like the drinking and like the having the, and that's not even taking into account, and even he doesn't even accept. But here, he's kind of bigoted, which to a normal night, if it was, I see the start of Deep Breath, which then takes. Yes, fan edits can become canon if Yes, fan edits can become canon if. Because the script does really bad. Because it's so great and probably one of Doctor Who's greatest. Even then, it definitely is the best scene out of comparison. But yeah, thankfully we do have some saving moments like this. Though it does seem that Moffat is quite obsessed with the character. I wouldn't be surprised if he would have. I wouldn't be surprised if Moffat brought back the character had Nicholas Courtney passed away. That being said, Kate Stewart wasn't brought back for Series 10. Oh, anyway, so as well as a few recreational scenes, but that, and whilst the two, I think he does go back to collect Ben and Polly before he regenerates, which is a good thing. But I did, and now this story can now tie. So this story can now tie into the fact that this is the steelbook version because I couldn't be bothered to go out get the DVD back out of. All at all levels, it's a fantastic music, both of which are referencing a deleted scene or deleted scenes from both of which are. Oh crap! You're just bloody lucky. I'm just lucky that there was only a little bit left. Ultimately, this story. Anyway, the 12th Doctor, and one more in the best 10th Doctor. So that's it from Twice Upon a Time. So that's it from Twice Upon a Time. Well, apart from the 13th Doctor's scene, first scene, but I'll get onto that afterwards. For a final score, this is so Twice Upon a Time. So I'm gonna run. It's not so bad when it's. Honestly, I think they. Bill and Nardle's fair, but that being, and yeah, it just kind of comes down to ultimately, but then you've got some really bad and in your face. When I was watching it, yeah, it's gone down since, yeah, even after the rewatch, yeah, even though I gave it a 5 when watching, even and like as a Bill and Captain, they're a bit better, but they're not completely necessary. It's just a bit of a week. It's the last episode of 2017. It's the last episode, and it's the last episode for a 10-month. And it's the last episode for a 9, and it's the last episode we get for just over 9 months. So yeah, apart from and it's the last episode we get for 9 months, and it's the 9. So there is a massive gap between this and the 13th Doctor's season opener. Yeah, Time of the Doctor Time of the Doctor left a good taste in them. So this story doesn't really leave a good taste in the mouth, and it's a bad. The last two stories, Yeah, or as I mentioned in the last review, put Sharda off. But it would still make it would regardless it would make Sharda officially and whether they knew about it, they might have known the 10th after the Ninth Doctor's TARDIS, which is slightly updated in Spyfall, but never mind. Which is also I will say this though, it does have a bit more plot convenience. He was complaining in the new series to some extent. And that's it from Twice Upon a Time. Tune in tomorrow for my top. So tune in tomorrow and then a few days after that. But those are opinions from 2016, 17, 18 from. But those are opinions for 26. So that's it. And then after a few more, and then we'll be on to series 11. Well, I guess one more episode won't hurt anyone. No, start again. The 12th. Right, on to the review. Right, I think. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the Nicholas Payne bonus content YouTube channel.